All right. Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. And once again, welcome to another session of our Itulay. Well, I just wanted to greet everyone a happy new year. Okay. So I am really sure that most of you must have a fun and a wonderful vacation. No? So we had actually like 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken, a break. So I hope that everyone is refreshed. Okay, so let me just introduce myself to you. Once again, this is Tutor Ernell from the Schools Division of Pasig. And with me, by the way, my beautiful partner, okay, Tutor Drazel from SDO Pasig as well, will not be here right now because she's attending to a very much important matter. Okay, but of course, it won't stop, and hopefully, she will be with us next meeting in our every Tuesday session of English 7. So that's going to be at 1:40 to 2:20 p.m. And for those who wanted to watch the session again, you can actually check our recorded session from Facebook, DepEd EdTech Unit DepEd Tayo page, or if you wanted to check it in YouTube, there's also another channel for the DepEd Educational Technology Unit, DepEd TV, for all of the recorded sessions here in Itulay. All right. So before we finally go to the next slide, I guess it's just fit for us to greet all of our learners and teachers, all of our viewers from all over the Philippines. So na-miss ko kayo. I hope you missed me too. So let's just see the greetings here. So from Samantha Blasi, good afternoon from Liano High School, Caloocan City. So all of the people from Caloocan City, good afternoon and keep safe, everyone. So from Janielle Von Morales, good afternoon, everyone. So she's watching from Mangahan High School. So she's from grade 10 Aeolus. And from Renz Guyver Calianta, good morning po. Watching from Imelda Integrated Secondary School, Malabon City. So for those people from Malabon, good afternoon po. And also Argel from 10 Aeolus, of course, from Mangahan High School. All right, so Mark Platon, a blessed afternoon to you as well. So where else? Wow, we also have viewers from Pampanga. We have Alriza Zaidane Gaza. All right, so their advisor, Sir Ramil Sabado of Pampanga High School. So hello po sa mga taga Pampanga. Good afternoon. And also from Krisha May Lasala of Baruya High School, Luba West District, SDO Pampanga. Okay, so from Mangahan High School, Manilim. All right, so a lot from Mangahan High School, yes. Also from Isabela, so from SDO Isabela, magandang hapon po, good afternoon everyone. So from Krishnel Lawagan, okay, so Bagnos Integrated School, to all of the viewers, teachers, and students, good afternoon. Okay, wow, from Miss Janet Flood Patayon. So from Massachusetts, formerly from Centennial to Pasig City. Good afternoon po. Good afternoon po dyan sa Massachusetts. I don't know kung afternoon ba dyan. Siguro gabi or hapon. We don't know the time there. Okay. Yes. All right. So the rest are from Mangahan High School. Good afternoon po sa lahat and all of the schools from the schools divisions of Pasig. So welcome again for our another session, our first session for year 2022. Well, students, viewers, teachers, everyone who are tuning in to our session today, we are now on quarter two, week 6. Okay, week 6, I mean, all right? So our topic for today will be about using analogies to describe and make a point. Okay, so hopefully hindi na kayo parang naaantok, no? Kasi 'di ba if we are in a long vacation, we tend to feel like ayoko pa magbalik sa class, no? But hopefully yung Monday or kahapon have warmed you up and have prepared you for our session today. Well, we would like to thank Department of Education Calabarzon for our module reference. So it's from Pivot 4A Learners Material. So we got all of our information, the topic that we have for this afternoon's session. So let's just discuss our objectives for this afternoon. So basically, just like what we have presenting in our previous sessions, my dear learners, we do have three objectives. So we do have the first one for our cognitive aspect. We're going to compare things in order to describe or make point using analogy. So for our affective, we do have use analogy to know the deeper meaning of things around us. And for psychomotor, we're going to use rhetorical devices like analogy and comparing things in order to describe or make a point. But of course, part of our psychomotor is for you to actively participate in our online session this afternoon. So that is very much appreciated. If you are going to type in the answers or probably contribute your answers pertaining to our topic or lesson this afternoon. Well, I got this greeting card from Tutor Mag's post yesterday. So welcome back, Kaitulay, quarter 2, week 6. Okay. By the way, cute na cute ako dito sa emoji na ginawa ni Tutor Drazel, no? Kamukha ko ba, mga kaitulay, no? So, I was really thrilled and happy to see this emoji, no? Nakakatuwa siya. So, we will be using that in our PowerPoint presentation already. So, I'm so excited again that we are starting another session for year 2020. And I hope everybody is also excited for this afternoon. Okay, so let's begin now our activity. So for our activating prior knowledge, this will be the directions. Okay, so get your keyboards ready because you are going to identify which of the statements below are true about analogy, or what I mean by below is that yung mga susunod na slides, okay, are true about analogy. So in our comment section, please type go if the statement is correct. Okay, please take note of that, my dear viewers. You have to type go if the statement that you will see in the slide is correct, and no if it says otherwise or kapag mali siya or it's unacceptable. Okay, so let's start with the first sentence here. Okay, so probably you might not have an idea yet, okay, but let us try if you can get the correct answer. So analogy can show comparisons between unrelated things. Okay, so what do you think is the answer for that? Is it a go or no? Okay, so while we are waiting for your classmates, let's just read some of the greetings coming from, wow, we have a lot of viewers from Mangahan High School. I cannot read all of your names, but I will just read some. Trisha Cartagena from 10 Aulus, John Louis Daplawen from 7 Abalone. All right, mostly from 10 Aulus. We have from Adonis. Okay, so mostly from Mangahan High School. We have from Diamantina National High School, Benji Garan. All right, so Benji is watching from Luis Fe Gomez Diamantina National High School. So hello po sa mga taga Diamantina National High School. All right, so we are now seeing some answers. So from Miss Janet Flood Patayan, so she said go. Renz Guyver Calianta said go. Danette Gansatao said go. Lorraine Hibe said go. Yancy Quisay said go. All right, and I can see a lot of go answers here. So let's go and find out if your answers are correct. Yes, okay, go. So we will be elaborating later what do we mean by this statement, although your answers are correct. Okay, so let's have the second statement. Okay, let's check it out. Analogy is just another term for simile. Ayan, so medyo nare-review tayo dun sa ating mga knowledge about figures of speech now. So, yeah. What do you think? Is it a go or a no? So, while waiting for your answers, let's check if I haven't read some of the greetings here. Okay, so Rianet Soriano, also from Diamantina National High School. Okay, from Grayton Adonis of Magan High School, Kirsten Mingoy. Okay, do we have an answer already for number 2? Oh, yeah, we already have. So, yeah, Renz Alejandro said no. Samantha Blasi said no. Lorraine said no. Stephanie said no, 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 no. Cyrus said no. John Louis Daplawen said no. And Cyrus Versosa said no. Let's see if your answers are correct. Yes. Okay, so we will know later why analogy would not be like the same as simile. And the third one, what do you think is the answer here? Analogy can be used to explain a point. Is it go or no? So class or my dear viewers, don't forget to type in the number before your answers, okay? All right, so while waiting for the answers, we have from, yeah, mostly from Diamantina National High School. Thank you so much from Diamantina National High School. All right. Okay, so Nicole Catalunya from Mangahan High School. Okay, do we have answers already for number 3? Number three. What's our answer for number three? Okay, so we have Renz Alejandro Nonato. He said go. Okay, so let's wait for more answers. Arvic Erosa said go. John Louis De Plauen said go. Rhea Liwanag said go. Let's see if their answers are correct. Yes, it's a go. All right, so that means to say number three is correct. Number four, some analogies compare relationships. So let us see if your answers would be right. Okay, so I can steal some answers from number three, but now let's try to answer sentence number four. Some analogies compare relationships. Okay, so we already have from Miss Janet, go. Yancy said go. Mhm. Samantha Blasi said go. Arvik Erosa said go. Almira May said go. Rianet said go. Okay, let's see if their answers are correct. Yes, it's a go. Good job. All right, Mike. Okay, Danet also said go. And for, okay, sorry about that. Number five, analogy can be used to describe unfamiliar concepts. So, what do you think is the answer for number five? Analogy can be used to describe unfamiliar concepts. Is it a go or no? Yeah, Mary Joy Madamba, Piedad from Diamantina National High School, Cabatuan. Isabella, good afternoon. Okay, we already have answer for number five. Yancy said no. Okay. How about others? Lorraine said go. Okay, it's a mixture of go and no answer. So let's see who got it correctly. Okay, number five is a go. All right, so analogy can be used to describe unfamiliar concepts. So we will know more about it as we continue our lesson. Okay, so look at this picture, class. So it's related to the concept that we are going to present here. So based on the module reference that we have, comparing objects or ideas is a common practice, especially when we are okay, ito na naman, nakalimutan ko na naman. Okay, so before we go to the presentation of the lesson, my dear students, can you just send me a heart react if you were able to get 5 over 5? Okay. All right, Tutor Drazel, forgive me. I always forget this if you're watching. Okay, so 5 over 5. Do we have 5 over 5? Wow, John Kevin De Plauen got 5. Okay, Marge got 4 over 5. That's okay. All right, we have a lot of hearts here. Samantha, Cyrus, John Joseph, Paula Stephanie Ansog, Princess Modelo, John Louis De Plauen. Who else got 5? Argel Michael Kinyana Lazo. Okay, so got 5 already. And our comment section is filled with hearts now because most of you got a perfect score. So congratulations. Yes, Miss Janet, woo, got 5. All right. So yeah, going back to what we are talking about here, part of the topic regarding analogy based on our module is that yung comparing objects, our ideas, is a common practice when we are writing. So, di ba when we are writing, we tend to expound our ideas. So, it's quite unavoidable or inevitable na nagkakaroon tayo ng parts dun where we are comparing ideas or sometimes contrasting it so that we would be able to expound more our topic. So that's actually a very helpful way for us to elaborate or to make our writing or essays better. Okay, so while there are many types of comparisons that one can make through usual figures of speech like simile and metaphor, yeah, okay, I know that you have learned this when you were in elementary, and now that you are in a higher level, in high school, in a junior high school, you know, marami pa tayong mga figures of speech, no? But for today's lesson, we will be dealing with simile and metaphor, comparing it with analogy. So, continuing, there are also literary techniques or devices that can show or provide a more detailed comparison of things and ideas. So this concept is just telling us na yung figures of speech, when we wish to write something, comparing things or contrasting it, we can actually use the figures of speech. But more than that, we can use other techniques or devices, which that's what we are going to discuss today. And that technique that we are going to use is what we call analogy? Okay. All right. So a big question mark. All right. What is analogy? Yeah. Okay, that's me. Hopefully, I can change the shirt. Okay, by the way, I would like to boast my Itulay uniform. Thank you, Tutor May. All right. So, well, what is analogy? So, an analogy is a literary technique that involves comparison of how two things are alike, but with the ultimate goal of making a point about this comparison. So, yung analogy, it's a comparison of how two things are alike. However, it doesn't stop there, my dear viewers. So, you have to arrive to a point or to arrive, you have to arrive to clarify some of your ideas using comparing two things that are alike. Okay? So, ang purpose nito is to clarify things or para mas maintindihan yung iyong concept or ideas. So another definition or another idea pertaining to analogy is this. So although often quite similar or related to simile and metaphor, an analogy is not a figure of speech. So di ba dun sa ating pre-test, dun sa ating activating prior knowledge, there was a question there or there was a statement there that tells na related daw ba si simile or are they the same? So they are not the same because analogy is not figure of speech. So don't forget that. So if it's not a figures of speech, then therefore analogy is what we call a rhetorical device. So a rhetorical device used to make rational arguments and support ideas by showing connections and comparisons between unlike things. So pwede pala yun, no? You are connecting two unlike things for you to arrive to a purpose that you are clarifying a particular idea. So para mas maintindihan siya, right? So the main function of analogy is not just to show, but to explain or justify. So may pagkakataon, di ba, there are chances that when we are explaining things, it's much better that we associate what we wanted to explain to something that other people might easily understand, which you will know later the examples. Meanwhile, figures of speech like simile or metaphor only aim to show without providing clear descriptions or explanation. So, di ba yung simile and metaphor? Di ba simile is a comparison that uses like and as, and how metaphor naman is a direct comparison. So, based in this explanation, yung ating analogy or the rhetorical device na analogy is explaining it to us much better rather than the comparison utilized by the figures of speeches, simile and metaphor. Okay, now let's take a look at how simile, metaphor, and analogy differ from one another through these examples. Ayan. Okay, may tumubong puno. Okay, so let's start with simile first. Okay, so kapag gagawa tayo ng isang statement or comparison with using simile, it's like this. Life is like a tree. So what are the two things here or two unlike objects or things here that are compared? Life and tree. Okay? So for this to be connected, sa simile, we are using the word like. All right? So nothing much, but it's just compared na yung buhay daw is like a tree. Okay? However, with metaphor, it's direct comparison without the like or probably yung word na as, di ba? So for metaphor, it's like this, life is a tree. So it's still comparing life and tree, but it's direct. Okay? But similarly with simile, it's not properly elaborated. So it's somehow like it's up to you for you to interpret what does the statements the statement na gumamit ng simile and metaphor are. So for analogy naman, tara, it's much more elaborated. Di ba earlier dun sa ating definition, analogy is the analogy's purpose is to justify and explain. That's why if you're going to notice, it's more elaborate, it has more information, not only for the purpose of comparing, but rather to explain and to justify. So for example, let's read it. Life is just like a tree. It starts from a seedling that grows into a full-grown tree that has trunk and branches that makes itself strong and bears more wonderful fruits. So using analogy, it's not only being compared, but rather, ine-explain pa kung bakit siya ikinompare doon sa bagay na yon. So I hope you are actually getting my point here, my dear viewers. So you can see from our illustration how these three are actually different from one another. Although all of them, if you're going to see the umbrella of it, is actually talking about comparison or comparing two unlikely things. Okay? So there are two types of analogies commonly employed in writing. So another tree has grown. Okay? So the type of analogies, the first one is analogies that identify identical relationships. And the other one is analogies that identify shared abstraction. So for us to better understand it, let me just elaborate it with you. So let's begin with the first one. Analogy that identify identical relationships. Di ba pagkambal, identical yung magkamuka or magkatulad. So let's look at this example taken from our module again. So this type of analogy takes the form of A is to B as C is to D. So makakakita kayo ng example later. And it's often used to directly illustrate similar relationships between two pairs of words, often for the purpose of logical argument. So dapat logical siya. So here's the example. Okay, mamaya wala pa pala. So the example below that I will show vividly shows the connection. Pakita ko muna yung example. So here's the example of analogies that identify identical relationships. Di ba may mga gantong test, no? So look at that. English is to language, all right? Mathematics is to arithmetic. So yung explanation behind that is the example below vividly shows the connection between English and language and mathematics and arithmetic. But there's more, okay? So makikita natin that the pair of words, English language and mathematics, arithmetic, related din sila. Sa paanong paraan? They are related because English and mathematics are basically subjects, all right? It's just that they have different focus, although they are still related, okay? So that's an example of what we call analogies that identify identical relationships. You see the relationship of the words, English related to language, mathematics related to arithmetic. However, the two pairs of words are related as well because both of them are subjects. So there are plenty of examples, no? But I cannot give you more examples as of the moment because we are, time bound. Okay. So another type of analogy is analogies that identified shared abstraction. Okay. So let me explain this with you. This compare two things or concepts that are technically unrelated in order to establish a connection between a characteristic that they share. So parang unrelated sila. However, you are using it as an example para mas maintindihan yung isang concept. So this type is common and useful in writing because it makes abstract ideas. Kapag abstract kasi, it's somehow like parang masyadong vague at wala siyang masyadong, hindi mo siya maanong mag-grasp, no? So marami pang interpretation. However, using analogies that identify shared abstraction, the abstract ideas makes the concepts or ideas more concrete. Pag sinabi natin more concrete, it's more understandable, it's simpler, and madali siyang maunawaan. So here's an example. What soldiers do for the country, white blood cells do inside the body. Ayan. So, ano namang kinaugnayan ng mga sundalo sa white blood cells, no? If you're going to think about that, right? However, para maintindihan, di ba sa science natin, may mga concepts sa mga science subjects natin that are really hard to understand. But then, through the effort of our science teachers, they are using analogies that identified shared abstraction so that you will be able to understand yung pinaka-konsepto nung kailangan yung matutunan. So just like this one, for you to understand better how white blood cells function in our body, it's compared to the soldiers. Ano ba ginagawa ng mga soldiers? No? Soldiers are the ones fighting against mga bad people, no? So they are protecting the country so that the country will be peaceful, walang gera, walang mga masasamang tao. So same thing with our body, the white blood cells act like soldiers to fight yung mga virus, mga bacteria, and also it's just like that. So see, nakikita natin dito, parang somehow kung makikita mo lang white blood cells are fighting the infection, parang medyo vague, no? Parang ano yun? Parang iba, yung iba, they might be asking pa. But if you're going to connect it to something na naiintindihan ng lahat, then definitely an abstract idea become a more concrete, more simple, and much understandable concept. Nagiging mas madali mo siyang maintindihan. So earlier, going back to our definition, di ba? It was mentioned here that the main function or the purpose of analogy is to explain and at the same time to justify. All right? So in the given example, the abstract concept of how white blood cells function in the body is made clear by explaining that they protect everything inside, like how soldiers perform their sworn duty to protect their country. So this is what I was telling you earlier, no? So you can see it's somehow unrelated, soldiers and white blood cells. Parang hindi naman related, no? But then again, we can use their function na almost magkatulad for us to better understand the function of white blood cells in our body. Diba? We're learning something today, no? I hope you're learning, my dear viewers. Okay, and so we were quite quick with the explanation. However, we're going to have some time applying what we learned or what we heard from our discussion this afternoon, okay? So this is the direction. Read, examine, and classify each sentence presented as to simile, metaphor, or analogy. So what you are going to do, my dear students, is to type in your answers in our comment section. So may papakita akong sentence dyan, and then what you are going to do is to identify whether it's a simile, metaphor, or analogy. Okay, so let's begin. There's a picture of a boy, and here's the sentence. He is thin as a stick. All right, so what do you think is the answer? Is it simile, metaphor, or analogy? He is thin as a stick. Yan, so magbasa muna tayo ng mga greetings, no, while we are waiting for others to type their answers. Okay, so from Marge Ashley K. De La Masa. All right, so she's watching from LFG Diamantina National High School. Wow, daming mga taga Diamantina National High School dito. No? So Jane Agonoy Saludares from Diamantina National High School, Cabatuan East. Okay, so Glacel Simpao, good afternoon from Tentratos, I believe from Mangahan High School. All right, we already have answers. So Dylan Roque said simile. Mark Hakutin said simile. Nino Zig Pagulia Humamin said simile. Abigail Sepilia said simile. All right. So Jane Agone Saludar said simile. Wow, dami na pala. I wasn't able to see it. Okay, so let me scroll it down muna. So Lizelle Ann Sanupes Sabido said simile. Marge Ashley K simile. Let's check it out if your answers are correct. Yay! Good job! Simile nga ang tamang sagot. Okay, why? Because there's the word as there. Okay, so that's the clue. Next, let's see the next one. Candies, chocolate. All right, number 2. Life is like a bag of candies. You never know what you are going to get. Ayan, ang ganda naman nung quote na to, no? But let's identify if it's simile, metaphor, or analogy. Okay, ayan. Mayroong nagsabi ng analogy, may nagsabing metaphor. Okay. So Fiona Lel Bravo said it's simile. Via Venice Vibar said, sorry, analogy pala, I mean. Ako. So okay. Stephanie De Santa said analogy. Janelle Von Morales said analogy. Micah Angela Data said analogy. Almira May Landerito said analogy. All right. I think most of the answers are analogy. Let's check it out. Yes. Okay, kala ko merong mahuhulog dun sa life is like, no? But then again, gaya nga nung explanation natin kanina, if it's elaborated, then therefore, it's analogy. Okay? How about the third one? Life is a wonderful journey. Ayan. So, is it simile, metaphor, or analogy? Okay, so ang dami pa rin nagtatype ng answers for question number 2, analogy. All right, we already have an answer for number three. We have Samantha Blasi, metaphor. Abigail Cepilio said metaphor. Trisha Cartagena said metaphor. Yancy Kisay said metaphor. Judah Paulo Alvarez, Sofia Blanca, Daniela Adelaide, Ella Marie de Magulia said metaphor. Ayan, ang dami nagsagot ng metaphor. Let's check it out if it's metaphor. Yes, it's metaphor. So, direct comparison of life to a wonderful journey. Totoo naman talaga, no? So, our life is actually a wonderful journey. Although may mga ups and downs, right? Just like now, there's pandemic, no? So, yeah, we have to be safe, my dear viewers. Huwag muna tayo maglalabas, no? Okay, so let's have the fourth sentence. Oh, this problem is a death sentence. Ayan. So, is it simile, metaphor, and analogy? Okay. Okay, so may mga sagot pa rin from number three. Okay, so Abigail said metaphor. Samantha said metaphor. Janet Flood, Patayan said metaphor. Okay, so Clara De Castro said metaphor. Jane Agonoy Saludares said metaphor. Okay, Althea Emeline Bagod said metaphor. Ayan, puro metaphor. Okay, let's see if that's the correct answer. Ayan. Okay, so probably this man in the picture might really be having a very big problem, no? So, yeah. Okay, so let's have the fifth one. So, congratulations for those who got the correct answers for number four. Yes, it's metaphor. And the fifth one, teaching students requires the same passion you would give to plants in a garden. And so that's why I have plants behind me. Okay, so you would give the plants in a garden. Okay, so nurture them, care for them, let them experience both light and dark. Soon they will grow and bloom like you expect them to be. Gaganda ng mga no mga sentences na ginamit sa ano natin. So, what do you think is the answer here for number 5? Is it simile, metaphor, or analogy? Ayan, dami ng mga nagsagot. Okay, so Ezel Reconesis Soto said analogy. Jeric Garabo said analogy. Clara De Castro said analogy. Jane Agonoy said analogy. Mark Hakutin said analogy. Glacial Simpao said analogy. All right, so most of your answers are analogy. Okay, good job, everyone. All right, so the correct answer is analogy. Ayan, so I will not forget this time, okay? I will be very sure this time. So please send me a heart react if you were able to get 5/5 for our testing one's knowledge activity. Okay? 5/5. Okay, so Rianet got 4. That's okay. Okay, so Marge got 5/5. Congratulations. Louis got 5. Marge got 5. All right, John Joseph Cruz got a perfect score 5. Ang dami nang nag-heart react. Abigail Cepilio got 5. Jefferson Rian D. Brigel got 5. Jane Agone Saludares got 5. Nino Zig Pagula Humamil got 5. Abigail Cepilio got 5. Glacial Simpao got 5. All right, so for those who weren't able to get a perfect score, that's okay. There's always next time. Meron pa tayong isang activity and try your best to get a perfect score, okay? So Princess Siren Gagatiga said got 5, and Nick, what's this one? Rezonar Ortiz got 5 as well. Wow, congratulations to all of our E2 Line students who got a perfect score. Okay? All right. Now, for our evaluating knowledge, this is what you are going to do. Identify which of the given statements are true. So if in our comment section, type true if the statement is correct and false if it says otherwise. Okay? So, ready na ba? Ayan, masaya si William. LOL daw. Okay. So, ang dami pa ring heart. Let's begin. I hope you remembered what I discussed earlier, no? So the first sentence is, analogy is different from simile and metaphor because it is a rhetorical device rather than a figure of speech. Yes. Okay, so what is this? Yes, Lawrence. Pastor Zamora, ready na daw siya. So what do you think is the answer? Okay, so Danette Gansatao said it's true. Nino Zig Pagula Humamil said it's true. Abigail Sipilio said it's true. All right, Argel Michael Kinle said it's true. Okay, so let's see if your answers are correct. Wow, good job. It's true, diba? Just like what I've mentioned earlier, definitely, although they are all comparing, the purpose for them is to compare two things, the purposes that they have are different. Okay, so, well, yung kanilang classification then are different. The other one is figures of speech and the other one is rhetorical device. Okay, so let's have number 2. Generally, analogies are clustered into two types. Okay? So tama ba to? These are analogies that identify identical relationships and analogies that identified shared abstraction. So what do you think is the correct answer? So ulitin ko ha, generally, analogies are clustered into two types. These are analogies that identify identical relationships and analogies that identify shared abstraction. Ayan, dami na nagsisend ng true. Jane Agonay, Saludares, Marge, Ashley K, Angela Pauline Bez, Rhea Liwanag, Sofia Blanca Quiñones, Antoinette Sabado, Cyrus Tico Versosa, Abigail Cipilio, Manilyn Delfino, all of them said true. Okay, so let's see if their answers are correct. All right, definitely. Okay, so ito yung binanggit ko sa inyo kanina. So para hindi nyo makalimutan yung mga nakalagay sa puno, the two analogies clustered into two types are analogies that identify identical relationships, and the other one is the analogies that identified shared abstraction. So yung last class, yung may shared abstraction, it actually make the abstract ideas concrete or much simpler to understand. Okay, the third sentence. In writing, analogy can make an abstract concept more concrete by providing a more detailed description or explanation. Is it true or false? Yun daw, analogy can make an abstract concept more concrete by providing a more detailed explanation or description or explanation. Is it true or false? Mhm. Okay, so I can see some answers now. So Clara De Castro said true. Janet Flood Patayon said true. Yancy Kinsay said true. Okay. All right. So hello there. Nawala na. Tumaas na. Hindi ko na nabasa. All right. So Alfred Jessica Lumanlan. Hakutin said true. Katrina May Pilapil said true. A lot of you have typed true. John Ronald Apuyan said true. Ezel Reconesis Soto said true. Let's see if your answers are correct. Yes. Okay, so it's actually making our explanations more concrete or much easier to understand. Okay, number 4. Analogies work by describing or explaining one thing by examining its similarities with another thing. Analogies work by describing or explaining one thing by examining its similarities with another thing. Is it true or false? Okay, so let's see. Okay, so while you are typing, baka may mga greetings tayo dito na hindi nabasa, no? Ayan, wala naman pala. Okay, so I guess a lot of you have sent true. Judah Paulo Alvarez said true. Aaron James Ventura said it's true. Danette Gansatao said it's true. Marge Ashley K. May Massa said it's true. Antoinette Sabado said it's true. Okay, let's see if your answers are correct. Sure kayo na true? Okay, let's see if the answers is correct. The answers are correct. Okay, good job, my dear students. True is the correct answer. And for number 5, true pa rin kaya? Okay, number 5. Analogy as a literary technique compares two unrelated objects in terms of their shared qualities. Analogy as a literary technique compares two unrelated objects in terms of their shared qualities. All right, so that's for number 5. What do you think is the correct answer? True or false for number 5? And Tutor Arnel from number 1 to number 4, true. How about in number 5? Let's see. Wow, true ulit ang mga sagot nila. Abigail Cepeda said true. Ezel Reconesis Soto said true. Nicole Audrey Bulo said it's true. Carlo Miguel Malonzo said it's true. Jane Agonay Saludare said it's true. Okay. And Yancy Kisay said it's true. Princess Modelo said it's true. Let's see if you got it correctly. Sure kayo na true? Okay, let's see if the answer is true. Okay, the correct answer is true. Okay, so all of the statements that I presented in our evaluating one's knowledge are true so that, hindi natin makakalimutan yung mga diniscuss natin earlier. Okay, so my dear students, let us see how many of you were able to get a perfect score for our evaluating one's knowledge. All right, congratulations, March Ashley K. De La Masa, who got 5 over 5. Okay, so Jane Agone Saludares, wow, 5 over 6. Okay, I guess the typo lang, 5 over 5. Yes, Nina, good afternoon. Okay, Nick Resonar Ortiz got 5 over 5. Glazel got 5. Rhea got 5. Jane got 5. Danette got 5. RC Kilalang Ramirez got 5. Antoinette Sabada got 5. All right, Samantha Blassie with an exclamation mark got 5 over 5. William Henry got 5 over 5. Lorraine Hebe got 5 over 5. Katrina Camille got 5 over 5. So, wow, as I see our comment section right now, I am so glad that most of you were able to get a perfect score, which means to say that you understood our lesson perfectly. Okay? Now, we are nearing the end of our discussion. So, summarizing learning, let's not forget that analogy is a literary technique that involves comparison of how two things are alike, but with the ultimate goal of making a point about comparison. So let's not forget that, okay? So although yung simile, metaphor, and analogy, they're all used for comparison, analogy is a literary technique that involves comparison, and its goal is to explain, to expound, and at the same time to make the point much clearer, okay? And of course, the two types of analogies that are commonly employed in writing. So what are these? So we have analogies that identified identical relationships. Okay, so gaya ng binigay kong example kanina, di ba yung English to language, mathematics to arithmetic, they are actually related. These two sets of words are related. However, yung English and math, they're also related because both of them are both subject areas. And of course, analogies that identified shared abstraction. So for the abstract ideas to be much better to be understood, just like yung comparison ng soldier at ng white blood cells, di ba? We were able to see the clear explanation of how white blood cells function in our body. So, hindi lang sa science, but probably you can actually use this in even more explanations or presentations so that any abstract ideas would be presented much simply and in a much understandable way. Okay. All right. So, another, in addition to what we were talking about, so analogy, talking about its main function. All right, so the main function of analogy is not just to show, all right, but also to explain or justify. So I am repeating it, class, na the function of analogy is to explain. That's why, di ba, yung nakikita nyo mga explanation doon sa ating mga tawag dito, yung mga examples natin kanina, they are usually longer and we get better to understand what the concept or what the relationship is of the two words compared, no? Because the purpose is to explain and to justify. So however, yung figures of speech na simile and metaphor, its only aim is to show without providing clear descriptions or explanations. So as simple as that, okay? But unlike analogy, it's more elaborated and further explained. Yeah, Samantha, I appreciate your what's this one? Your gratitude. Sabi niya, thank you, Tutor Arnel, for teaching us an interesting topic today. It was really fun. Salamat ng marami sa ating mga viewers for your appreciation. No? Okay, so, well, let us see at the end of our lesson if we were able to achieve all of the objectives. Okay, so the first one, compare things in order to describe or make a point. All right. Use analogy to show the deeper meaning of things around, and use other rhetorical devices like analogy in comparing things in order to describe or make a point. So basically, we were able to touch all of this one in our lesson today. Okay. I can see a lot of messages of thanks. Okay. So you're welcome. And hopefully, in our next session, you will still be with us. Okay. Yes, from Pulong Buhangin National High School, Santa Maria, Bulacan. Hello there sa mga nasa Bulacan, all right? So, my dear Ito Liars, my dear students, so this will be our assignment. So please check it out. Okay? So you are going to write a short essay about any of the topics listed below. So make sure to use analogies in describing or establishing your point. So mamimili lang kayo sa any of this topic, okay? Hindi nyo gagawa ng lahat ng essay to, ha? But you are going to pick only one. Okay, so any interesting topic. And then going back to our topic about analogy, use that in expounding your concepts about the following topics. So what are these? The first one is coronavirus pandemic in the eyes of a teenager. Letter B, being kind towards others in times of great need. And letter C, keeping the faith in the midst of problems. Ang gaganda ng mga topics, no? So hopefully next session, we will be able to pick one and be able to feature it in our next session. Okay? All right, so for the submission of your assignment, so you have two options. You can send it to Tutor Drazel's page, Facebook page, Tutor Draze. So just send her your work, no? Para mai-present natin sa ating next session. And of course, if you wish to connect with me, hindi lang sa pagsasubmit ng assignment, if you have some questions, kung gusto nyo magkwento, wag lang kayo mag-chat ng hating gabi, right? So you can always send me your assignment or your answers, or if you have any queries, to my personal Facebook page. So wala pa akong page. I hope kapag may page na ako, you will be able to like it as well. Arnel Camba, just look for it. Arnel Camba, this is my profile. And send your answer through Messenger. Okay, so for the exit assessment, so while I am discussing this with you, you can scan it using your phone. Scan the QR code below the link and answer the Google form for the exit assessment. And of course, for the evaluation and feedback, hopefully, my dear learners, you will be able to check din yung ating link, no? And then send me your honest evaluation about the sessions, no? About the sessions of Tutor Arnel and, of course, my partner, Tutor Drazel. So evaluate the session honestly and read each question carefully. And there you go. Let's call it a day, everyone. So by the way, here we're ending our session again. I'm Tutor Arnel from SDO Pasig, and hopefully next meeting we will be with Tutor Drace, also from SDO Pasig. So be with us again next Tuesday for another English 7, for a very interesting and fun English 7 session. That's every Tuesday from 1:40 to 2:20 p.m. So reminder again, if you missed our session, you can always go back to check the recorded session on Facebook and also from our YouTube channel. Okay. And of course, all of the teachers, okay, the team of English Junior High School are here, ready to serve you, ready to help you to better understand and to love English more. Okay. So, of course, up next, let's support our tutors from the English department. We have Tutor Rubeline and Tutor Jovet of English 8. Yes, Arki, thank you, and you're welcome as well. Maraming salamat, and see you again next time. Bye for now, everyone. Take care. Keep safe.